We bought a $40,000 car that we absolutely could not afford and had to trade it in 9 months later.
I have $60,000 worth of car debt, with about $30,000 of that being in negative equity.
What kind of car do you drive and what's your payment?
It's a Ram 3500 dually and it's $1,300 a month.
Okay, so today we're going to be going over some insane car payments with the way the economy is right now and everything being so tight, from high rent to high groceries. The one thing that you can relatively control is how high your car payment is. And people literally get into these horrible car payments where they end up growing to absolutely regret it because they realize the financial chokehold they just put themselves in. We have tons of examples to go through today, so let's just get right into it.
What car do you drive and what's your payment?
I drive a 2024 RS e-tron GT. That one is $1,400 a month. I have a 2024 RS3. That one is $1,300 a month. I have a 2025 SQ6. That one is $740 a month. And a 2024 Q5, and that one's $609 a month.
Oh my god! What car do you drive and what's your payment?
I drive a 2024 Audi S5. My payment is $680.
Oh, okay. Hey Pedro, what car do you drive and what's your payment?
I drive a Q7, man. Payment's $970.
Prestige luxury.
Prestige, babe.
And my name is Tristan. I drive a 24 SQ8 e-tron and my payment is $910.
First off, those payments were crazy. Now, honestly, I think some of them are genuinely just rage baiting or just straight up capping. Because, I mean, who knows? Maybe they actually have those payments. But I think there's a bigger picture happening here. Now, mind you, all these people work in, I'm assuming they're in sales, but I'm assuming it's car sales, right? So you think about the psychology, what they're trying to do here. If they tell you, oh yeah, I got a $900 car payment, I got a $1,300 car payment, a $1,600 car payment, you see enough of these videos and then eventually you're thinking, maybe that $500 a month car payment, even though it's out of my budget, isn't that bad, even though I can't afford it. That $400 car payment, that $600, $700 car payment, because I know there's people out there that got a $1,300, $1,400 in car payment. There's some people out there that have 4 cars, like that one guy that had, I think it was Daniel or something, where he had like over $4,000 of car payments. So it's like, okay, bro, if you got it, bro, and you genuinely can financially afford it, that's fine. But most people with crazy car payments cannot comfortably afford that car.
$929.99 a month. $660 a month. $1,450 a month plus $350 a month for the roof. It's an all-metal roof. Not bad.
That's kind of crazy that he's actually paying more for his cars, 2 depreciating assets, than his house, his mortgage. Like, bro, if people don't see something wrong with that, I don't know what to tell you. That's kind of crazy. If he, hey, like I said, if he got it, he got it. But like, bro, imagine all that money he's throwing away. Maybe they're in a situation where the family needs 2 cars. Now, I don't know. Obviously, he could be a dad or he could be a single man. Who knows? But let's assume he has a family, right? Let's assume he has a wife or a girlfriend or whatever, and they need 2 cars. You needed both cars to come up to $1,500 combined? Like, I mean, hey, listen, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. It's just, that's kind of crazy. All that money that's just dying to an appreciating asset when you could have gotten 2 cheaper cars, but you got $1,500 of car payments a month, and that's just the payments. It's not including gas. That's not including maintenance. It's not including insurance. Maybe he wrapped that in. I don't know, but like, bro, that's crazy. And I know you guys gonna be thinking, oh my God, Furbo, just let him live a little bit. Everything doesn't have to be a financially smart decision that benefits you in the long run. That is true. Live your life. But the reason why I'm harping on this so hard is because anything can happen randomly in life. And you can get to a point to where with this mentality of getting these cars you know you can't afford and getting these payments you know you can't afford, you can get to a point to where you eventually just can't afford them anymore.
We bought a $40,000 car that we absolutely could not afford and had to trade it in 9 months later. In 2021, we walked into a car dealership in Kansas City and we walked off the lot with a 2021 Toyota Highlander that we absolutely could not afford. We had zero business buying that car, but yet somehow they still let us walk off the lot with it. We were making decent money and getting by at that time. I had a 1-year-old and I was pregnant with my second daughter and needed a mom car. No, I didn't. Newsflash. About 6 months after that, we moved to Montana and pretty much started over our entire lives. So we couldn't afford that payment anymore. We were paying $750 a month for this car. And to put that in perspective, our mortgage in Kansas City was $850. Everything was much more expensive up here, and we weren't making the same income we were making in Kansas City at first. So we decided to just go ahead and trade it in.
All right, first off, the fact that their car payment was for just a regular Toyota, not some luxurious Mercedes or Cadillac or something, and it was almost the same amount as their mortgage. I never understood how people can possibly have the mentality that your car note should be close to your mortgage. Like, you are literally basically doubling your monthly expenses to have a car. That's crazy. That's insane to me. But then another thing too, which is very important, I hope you guys caught it, when she said the whole, oh, we could not afford the car and I can't believe they let us walk out the dealership with it. With that mentality, you're already ducking accountability. You're already shifting the blame from you over to the salesman, over to the dealership. But at the end of the day, you know their goal is just to sell you a car. Once you sign that dotted line, they've made their money. It is what it is. You have to have the responsibility to be like, okay, cool, I'm going into the dealership. This is my hard budget. They either can get me to that price point, but even then, that could still be a bad deal. If you tell them a specific price point, they can just stretch the loan term out, have you paying so much more on interest. That's a whole nother topic. But the whole point is, you are responsible as the adult to be able to say, I know what I can afford. If the numbers aren't making sense, I'm just not going to do it. I don't know if anyone doesn't know this, but don't ever buy a car from a dealership. Buy from Carvana or Ruby Car. We have a 2023 Mazda CX-9 we got for $22,900 from Ruby Car. It has 28,000 miles in perfect condition. I've heard horror stories about Ruby Car. Did you get your registration and perm plates before the temps expired? I never heard of a Ruby Car, to be honest. So I don't really know how that really works. I heard Carvana's like hit or miss. Like, it's decent, but I heard they might be potentially going out of business, so they might not be working that well. Overall, people are so used to going to dealerships that it's like, even if the dealership experience isn't that good, they'd rather go to something that they're at least familiar with. It's almost like, I'd rather go to the devil that I know than the devil that I don't. I'm bored and nosy. I want to know what mom car you drive and what your car payment is. I'll start. I drive a 2018 Ford Explorer Limited and I pay $515 a month. Dang. Bro, like, hold on, wait. $515 a month for a 2018? Now listen, okay, maybe I just don't know about the car market and I'm the crazy one, but like, bro, what? Over $500 a month for a 2018? That is a what? 8-year-old car. What are you buying? What's your credit score? Like, how much negative equity did you have? There's so many questions I have. You already know we gotta look at the comments for this. All right, right off the bat, we got a 2024 RS Traverse, $1,104 a month. Okay, bro. Shout out to the salesman or saleswoman that got y'all to sign up for this. That commission check must have been good, because like, bro, why are we paying $1,100 for a car payment? Unless you got it. You making 20, 30K a month, you feel me? 10K a month plus. Hey, get your $1,100 car payment. Do you? That's 10% of your income. You're chilling. But gang, how many people making that type of money though? Hopefully Vanessa is making that type of bread. The odds just aren't in her favor to be making the amount of money that could comfortably afford an $1,100 car note. 21 Wrangler paid off. I did 0% for 36 and it was $860 and literally about killed me. Oh man. 2024 Toyota Grand Highlander. I paid $1,115 a month. Best freaking investment. It's just a joke. Like, bro, first off, the word investment. Now, unless she's a car content creator, to my knowledge, that's not like some fancy car that's going to get you noticed by other people you might want to network with. So it's not like she's using it for that. So the way she used investment, she has to be trolling, because there's no way. Investment aside, which it really wasn't, but it's a depreciating asset, but that's okay. $1,115 a month for a Toyota. Paying over a band a month for a car that's not a luxury car is crazy to me. I wish mine was a flex, but I want to cry with the $1,378 payment on our 2023 Ram 2500 and $500 for our 2021 Kia K5. 2025. We can't get rid of either because they're upside down. Someone hit me, please. Oh my God. That's what I'm talking about with that negative equity. Is like you get into these high car payments like this, which you got $1,378, a $500, so they're paying what, like almost $1,900 a month just for car payments, not including gas, not including insurance. So they're paying well over $2,000 a month for their cars. The reason why you're paying this much money for these type of cars is because you probably either rolled in negative equity from your previous car and it got to the point to where you have so much negative that you can't even get out of it because your car is not worth what you owe on it. Then another dealership's not going to allow you to roll that negative equity again into the next car because you can't afford the down payment that's going to be required for that, to the point you're paying for like a Kia or something, and it's like you're paying $130,000 for a Kia because you rolled over $50,000-$60,000 in negative equity or something. And it would just financially keep you in a chokehold to where your only option to get out of it is to just let it get repoed, and you just take the massive hit to your credit. Your interest on any future car is going to be sky high. It's going to be so hard for you to buy a car now. It's just a cycle, bro, that can be avoided. That's why I make these videos like this. Just simply have financial discipline. Simply understand, at the end of the day, nobody cares about what car you drive. I'm sorry, I had to let the cat out the bag. Nobody cares what type of car you drive. That's just the reality. Only you are going to drive that car. You could buy the nicest car of all time to try to impress random people, impress your neighbors. They're not going to care. I promise you they won't. And if they do, you won't care. Like, them just knowing you have a nice car doesn't matter. Get a car that can get you from point A to point B, and that is the most cost efficient for your current situation. And then if you do that enough throughout your life, you will have enough excess money to be able to funnel into learning more high income skills, or give yourself time to get that promotion at work, whatever it is, to be able to get to the point where you're making more money and you can afford a nicer car. Delayed gratification is a thing that a lot of people don't have nowadays, and you get stuck in this situation where you have a $1,300 car payment and you feel stuck, and then you got to the point where all your bad financial habits have finally caught up to you and you can't get out of it. 2021 BMW 228i, $622 a month with a 21% interest rate. Shout out to my ex for destroying my credit. See, again, it's a thing I always keep bringing up when it comes to this stuff. I know this is a trend with a lot of people that get into bad financial decisions. It's always somebody else's fault. It's always the accountability being shifted. That's where the core problem is. It's not the salesman. It's not your ex-boyfriend. It's not your girlfriend. This is probably a situation where she probably co-signed for her boyfriend on a car and he didn't pay for it because his credit was bad. So he's like, hey, babe, can you just co-sign for this car so I can get it? And he still didn't make his payment. So her credit took a hit. And now that her credit's bad, she went to go get a car and she had to pay an insane amount of money because her interest rate was so high. But at the end of the day, you still accepted that. You still signed on the dotted line to co-sign. You still allowed somebody else to tank your credit. But it all comes down to you. This all comes down to having self-accountability. 2025 Honda Pilot Sport, $864 a month. Jesus, oh my God. We got a comment from a poll just going over crazy things people have seen in the car market, or just people having horrible financial decisions when it comes to cars. Who finances for 84 months? Holy crap. Keeping up with the Joneses, I guess. Yeah, 84 months. If you got to stretch that loan out that far just to get the payments down to something you can somewhat manage, and most of the time a lot of people still can't afford those payments, what are you doing? The interest is about to put belt to your booty. You're about to overpay dramatically. But hey, people, they want what they want. Like this comment says, keeping up with the Joneses. At the end of the day, people want to look like they got the money, but yet they're just in crippling debt forever. It's insane.
Bro, when did the car market get cooked? People are getting $1,800 a month car payments for 84 months, and that's normal? Like, this person is financing $102,000 and then paying $54,000 in interest over the lifetime of this car note. And again, it's 12.74% for 84 freaking months. Now, we just got the latest data on auto loan delinquencies, and you can see right here that over the past decade, auto loan delinquencies are up about double what they were 10 years ago.
60-day delinquencies. And what we're showing you here is average transaction prices, which, by the way, at more than $48,000, that's what you and I are paying at a dealership on average, almost at a record high. According to Experian, 60-day auto loan delinquencies at an all-time high of 0.99% of all open loans that they were checking. 30-day auto delinquencies Also close to a record high, highest since the recession in 2008 and 2009 at 3.17%.
Honestly, it's not even a surprise to see all-time highs when it comes to delinquencies because, I mean, when you look at the fact that there's a repo crisis going on, these crazy car payments. Now mind you, people are willingly signing up for it, so we gotta keep that in mind. They're willingly signing up for them, but still, people have these crazy car payments and then they know they can't afford them or they can just barely afford it. This is their bills and this is their money. It's right there. Living paycheck to paycheck, and if anything goes wrong, an emergency pops up, they lose their job, whatever, and now they're severely underwater and can't afford their car. And if you had to choose between eating or paying your car note, what are you going to do? You're going to choose between paying your car note or putting gas in your car. What are you going to do? You got to choose between paying your car note, but then you can't get to work to get money so you can get food. You see what I'm saying? It just leads to this cycle. But again, it comes down to people just making bad financial decisions. So now they have bad credit. They have bad credit. Now they have to take a higher interest rate. It all eats on itself. You have bad credit because typically you make bad financial decisions. If you make bad financial decisions, now you're probably living either paycheck to paycheck or you're living well above your means. So now you're in a position to where if anything goes wrong, you're cooked. Horrible toxic cycle that when you factor in all the different things that's happening in the economy right now, this all-time high of delinquencies, it makes sense.
How is a Ford Maverick $43,000? Like, how did Ford manage to do that, right? Look at that. $43,000. I really want to know who's buying a Tremor Maverick, right? Because you're not good in the good MPG, right? Look at that, 23 combined? 23 MPG for this tiny, tiny little thing. This thing's tiny. Is that even, like, what is that, 4 feet? But 43 grand and it gets 23 MPG. When the hybrid ones get almost 38 MPG. So literally, who's going to buy the Tremor one when you want this one? But then Ford also messed up because who's buying this one when it's almost $30,000 and they promised it was going to be a $20,000 truck when it came out? Here's what's really crazy. If you were to buy that Bronco for $41,000 and a second Bronco for $41,000 and let's say a C5 Corvette, then if you were to take all of that together, you could actually, for the same price, purchase this Ford Bronco Raptor. Is it worth 2 Bronco bases in a C5 Corvette for the same vehicle?
The fact that a higher spec version of the Ford Bronco could cost the same as 2 base models plus that Corvette is insane to me. And it's just like, it blows my mind to think like it's basically the same car but maybe a higher spec, but that's insane. That just does not justify that crazy jump in price. And the dealers are wondering, where are my cars sitting? Why can I sell cars right now? Because like, bro, that price is insane. Now mind you, there are going to be some people out there that will pay it, that will either they could afford it, shout out to them, or they will just go into crazy amounts of debt to get it. But even then though, it gets to a point where if something's so overpriced, your debt won't even save you because you need to be able to have the down payment to match it. But it's like, man, the prices of cars nowadays, especially when it's the same car but like one's a better spec, that big of a price jump is insane. I don't know how they justify that.
Every day I go back and forth with myself about getting a new car. I want a new car so bad, but I have been car payment free for 3 years now.
Don't buy that new car. Don't do it. Don't do it. I know it's cooler than your current car and it has like all the bells and whistles and it has the colored interior and it just looks cooler and you want to feel cooler and you want to feel like you're it, but don't do it.
Then you got another one right here where it says POV, social media convinced you that your car wasn't good enough, so you got a car payment, and that's just one more nail in the coffin of your marriage and family being taken down by money stress to impress people who don't care. Exactly. It's like, bro, at the end of the day, do what's best for you and your family. Whether your neighbors think you have a cool car or not, it does not matter. This lady was on the verge of divorce, of money stress, and she said, let me go and add more payments. You would think that I'm just making this stuff up, but these are real people that move like this. It's like, bro, would you rather be the guy that drives around the 2010 Honda Civic, but he's retired by 35, he has a $5 million in an investment account, he makes $200K a year at his job, he's financially free, he just works his job for fun and it pays him a lot of money? Or would you rather be the person working at Walmart but drives a 2026 Hellcat, their car payment's $2,000 a month and they just think they look cool? Would you rather actually be winning in life but maybe have a car that doesn't look as flashy or as nice? Or would you rather have a car that looks amazing, looks like you're killing your life, but secretly your life's horrible? Like you are in financial stress 24/7. Make a decision. And then guess what? If you choose the first one when you actually just have a car that's kind of like, but your life is great, guess what? You can get to a point to where your life can be great and you have a nice car. But if you pick option B, to where you're constantly in financial stress and constantly can't save any money, can't invest any money, you'll never get to the point where you can actually have a nice car and enjoy your life and be financially free. It's crazy that people don't even see this. It's so simple. We got nobody listen to her. I'm a car salesman. Exactly. It's like, bro, it's so funny because a car salesman will listen to you say all that, but they will find some way to shift the idea and just pivot it to a way to say, oh, it's a way, this car is gonna save your family, because if you guys had a good car to ride in, you guys would feel good, and if you felt better, you'd be able to make better decisions about your life. Like, they will say whatever they need to get that deal done. Not all salesmen are that shady. Some of them, I do believe, have a heart and would be like, all right, cool, I don't need to commission that bad. Like, I'm good, I know how to do my job, I'm good at sales, I'm gonna make another commission off of a customer that actually wants a car. I would highly recommend you don't buy a car right now. It's not the time for you to be adding more financial stress. But the vast majority, I think, are going to do what they got to do and say what they got to say to make that deal happen. It is what it is.
Honestly, this is my favorite car in our lineup, the 25 Genesis G80. I just love how it looks. Honestly, I prefer our 4 cylinders over our 6 cylinders. It feels faster, to be honest with you. 300 horsepower. This Capri Blue, this is gorgeous. This camel interior just looks like me. You know what I mean? It's just so nice. Full 27-inch screen. It's just so comfortable. I would 100% take this over any Mercedes E-Class. Just 100%.
Go see the resale value. You're not gonna like it that much after that. Facts, bro. Because like, I respect the hustle, man. Try to sell the car, do your thing. But at the same time, that depreciation is going to hit like a truck. No pun intended. When you realize, wait a second, I just bought a car for, and I don't know what the price of that car is. Let's just say the car was $90K. Wait a second, I've had the car for a year. I can only trade it in for $60K? Whoa, time out. I lost 30 bands in a year. Wait. I worked as a tech at a Genesis dealership. GV60s were getting a new recall nearly once every month. And when you test drove any of the cars, warnings would happen all the time, even if not needed. I was driving down the road for a test drive and I got a warning from a car in another lane driving 30 feet behind me. It pissed me off so much. Like, these type of cars, they're probably not going to hold value because they have all these issues. So like, you may get sold by a salesman or like, okay, let me go ahead and buy that, whatever that sticker price is. But you're going to get hit with some crazy depreciation because they're not going to hold their value. They're just not. I'm bored. Tell me your wildest car dealership story. Not they sold the car before I got there. I mean, the really wild stuff. All right, COVID times. My credit score is over 750. Okay, nice. Homeowner with a 2.9% interest rate. Okay, there we go. No credit debt. The dealer was trying to sell me a car with 18% interest rate. Oh, I would have been like, nope. There's no way. I did not work my behind off to have a 750 credit score, get a 2.9% interest rate on my house, have no credit card debt, and you think I'm finna walk out with a car with 18%? Hey, listen, come back and talk to me when you drop that 8. When that gets down to 1%, 2%, 0%, 3%, maybe. 18%? You're crazy. That's wild. They wouldn't give my license or keys back unless I bought their car. So I had to call the cops and then they tried to ruin my credit. Bro, what? So let me get this straight. It was probably a situation where she probably went to the dealership for some maintenance or something, right? And then, you know, the salesmen are there. They're trying to, like, you know, upsell her car or whatever it is. Or maybe she went there to potentially look for a car. They're like, well, yeah, you could trade your car and let us go take it for a test drive. Give us your keys so we can see what the value is we can give you. And then maybe they got pretty far along in the sale and then she realized last second that, my current car has negative equity or whatever. I don't want to roll that into this next car. Right now, the car might not be the best decision. And now they were so hard focused on getting that sale that they took it to this extreme, to the point that where they're like, oh, yeah, but let's look at the papers real quick. No, I'm good. I don't want to do the deal. Let me get my keys back. Yeah, but just let's look at this. And to the point where she's like, all right, listen, I'm not doing the deal. give me the keys back. They're like, well, yeah, but we got to at least go through all this first before. And then she's like, yeah, I'm just going to call the cops, bro. And they probably like ran her credit a bunch of times too because they were mad. Like, bro, it's never that deep, bro. At the end of the day, if you're good at what you do and you know you have great cars at a great price, don't pressure people to the point where they got to call the cops on you. Like, bro, what? This is crazy, man. I wish somebody would try to hold my car hostage. Come on, bro. Here we got, I wanted a Nissan Juke, was already pre-approved from my bank to cover it, went to dealership, and this guy training a new kid was all full of himself, told a new kid in front of me that I needed a Rogue because I quote, ma'am, you're too big for this Juke. The Rogue is more suiting for you. I went next door and ended up leaving with a Mazda CX-5 and reported the sale guide to the dealership manager. That is insane. So you basically called somebody fat and expected them to close a deal with you? Are you joking? Like, bro, there's so many other ways you could have tried to get her into a different car. That's insane. The dealership took my friend's car they were trading in for a test drive and hit a deer totaling it. Then didn't want to give them any money. That ended with a lawsuit. Of course, like, bro, you take my car for a test drive, you are responsible in returning it in the same condition I gave it to you. That's crazy. Wow. At my old job, they hired a new finance manager, and when the customers were in his office, he was making them put more down without putting it in the deal and pocketing it. Scammed almost $80K in 2 weeks. Dang, that's crazy. Bro's probably sitting in a nice prison cell right now. That is fraud at the highest degree. That's insane. Oh my goodness. I'd be so heated. Could you imagine if you think you're putting more down on your deal to get the payment down lower the whole time it didn't do anything because he just pocketed it? That's crazy. They refused to give me my keys after I said I wasn't interested in a Kia when I went to look at Subarus. Told them I'd call the cops if they didn't give them back to me. Cops ended up getting called. This is the second comment that has said they've gone through this. Like, is this like a normal tactic? Like, I don't be buying cars all the time, so I want to know. But like, bro, there's no way you're that desperate for a sale, bro. I understand, you know, times can get hard, you know, in the car game, and like maybe you haven't made a sale in a couple weeks, but like, bro, that's insane for you to think you are going to literally strong arm somebody physically by like not allowing them to like leave with their car. Because listen, if you want to leave in a car, you're leaving in one of our cars. I'll tell you that. Like, bro, that's crazy. Yeah, it really does blow my mind what car salesmen will do to close a deal. But if you do end up buying one of these vehicles, and God forbid it's a luxury vehicle and, you know, you can't really afford it, but it is what it is. You get closed. It is what it is. You sign on that dotted line. It is very easy to end up in a situation like this.
Calling about the Maserati that you were trying to get rid of. Break it down for me if you don't.
It is $20K upside down. You told me I have great credit, so it's like $750. I do have money down, but obviously based on the situation I talked to you about, I would like to not put so much down if I don't have to, just because I don't know what the future looks like right now.
So you owe around $41,000. Wholesale on that car is between, like I said, that range is going to be between $20,000 to maybe $23,000 on the top end. So you are $20,000 upside down. Here's the problem, right? You got great credit. You got good income. I know you're trying to move. The problem is unless you put a significant amount of money down, your negative equity is going to transfer over to a different car. So then if you're buying a newer car, it's going to depreciate. That will put you in an even worse situation because typically you'll have more negative equity. So it's just like eating this consistent. It's just a sick. If you ever, any lesson you take from this, never buy a Maserati. Always lease it.
I've learned that.
Never buy a Maserati.
It's horrible. I had a Ghibli and I had this one, but the Ghibli had crashed. I got in an accident on my way back from Texas, and it was considered total because it was so expensive to fix minor little issues. Right. It was just scratched, but it cost more than what it was worth.
I'm confused because if you knew the Maserati wasn't the car that you should buy because of how bad the depreciation is, did she say she went ahead and did it again? So let me get this straight. You saw how bad the car was again and you went ahead and got another one. That's crazy. Let's just take a look at some of these comments because, bro, what? $130K for a Jeep Grand Cherokee with leather? Facts. Like, that's basically what it is, man. That's crazy. Unless you're a millionaire, you should never buy a Maserati. They aren't reliable. Maintenance is extremely expensive and they don't hold their value at all. Pretty sure, but bad financial decision. Yeah, I mean, even if you're a millionaire, I mean, unless you really love the design of Maseratis, I guess, you really just shouldn't, because realistically, you don't become a millionaire by making bad financial decisions. But I guess he's saying in the sense of, if you are a millionaire and to the point where it's like, I bet you have expendable income to where you don't have to worry about every single thing being a smart financial decision, then it's like, sure, do your thing. But like, yeah, bro, there's people that really can't afford these cars that are getting them, and just off the sticker price alone, they can't afford the $130,000, $140,000, $150,000 car. But then you add on the fact that there is expensive maintenance, it can add up really quickly. Then we got whatever's smart. Girl, hang up the phone and call Toyota, get a Prius. Facts. That is true. But at the same time, she's still going to have that negative equity. But ideally, if she gets a much cheaper car, instead of bringing that $20,000 of negative equity over to the next position on to a more expensive car, a car that expensive, get that Prius, right? And then at least it's like, I bet you got the $20K on top of a $30,000, $40K car instead of adding another $20K on top of a $130,000, $140,000 car. It's just, sometimes if you make some bad financial decisions, you just have to downsize. But the only problem is, what I realize is a lot of people in that situation, when you get up to that point in life to where you're driving around in a $100,000 plus car, it's a status thing. It's like you can't be seen in a Prius, even though in reality you can. It's not that deep. But people in their minds are like, I can't be seen driving around a Toyota Prius. I'm a Maserati girl. I'm a Mercedes guy. And then that ego is what keeps them in a perpetual horrible financial situation, trying to look like they got it instead of just making the smart financial decision. The cost of fake flexing, exactly. That's the thing that I was just explaining. This is what happens when you end up buying cars that you really can't afford. When things start stacking up, then it's like, oh, I need to get out of it and all this stuff. I lost so much bread on it. Because really, I think you should only be buying a $100,000 plus car when you're making enough money to where you genuinely do not care about the depreciation, because you just like the car. Like if the depreciation was $50,000, you're planning on keeping it for the long haul anyway, or God forbid, if you did have to trade it in at a loss, it wouldn't affect you because you got it like that. But most people, like I said, they don't be having it like that, and they be getting these expensive cars. That's all I got for you guys today. Make sure to drop your comments below because I'm eager to hear what you guys have to say. I know it's going to be pretty juicy, and I read all of them. YouTube thinks you're going to like this video popping up somewhere over here, somewhere in this area. So if you're liking the videos, you're enjoying them, man, keep the marathon going and go ahead and click up there. And I will see you guys in the next one.